You are about to hear something simple, yet dangerous in its power. Most people will ignore it because it does not look dramatic. It does not look complicated. It does not demand a crowd, a stage, or a perfect moment. It demands only this: that you take control of your final thoughts before sleep. And if you do, night after night, you will not remain the same man. Ask yourself honestly: are you satisfied with the direction of your life? Do you wake up with purpose, or with pressure? Do you feel in command of your days, or do your days command you? Can you provide with peace? Can you spend without guilt? Can you move through life with the certainty that your future is bending in your favor? If your answer is no, then listen carefully. Because what I am about to tell you is not empty encouragement. It is not performance. It is not a pleasant theory to make you feel better for one night. It is instruction. The final thoughts you entertain before sleep are not harmless thoughts. They are orders. They are commands handed to the deepest part of your mind. And that part of your mind does not sleep. While your body rests, your inner world keeps working. It organizes. It reinforces. It builds. It takes what you repeated with feeling and begins shaping your identity around it. That is why so many men remain trapped. They go to bed thinking about debt, delay, disappointment, fear, rejection, and everything that has not yet happened the way they wanted. Then they wake up heavy. They wake up uncertain. They wake up carrying yesterday into today. And they call that life. But the man who rises above the crowd understands something the average person never learns. The night programs the day. You do not enter sleep passively. You enter sleep suggestively. And whatever you give your mind in those final moments becomes the material from which tomorrow is built. So let me speak plainly. If you fall asleep in worry, you train worry. If you fall asleep in weakness, you train weakness. If you fall asleep repeating lack, you deepen lack. But if you fall asleep with command, clarity, and certainty, you begin to create a different life. That is how change starts. Not first in the bank account. Not first in the body. Not first in the outside world. It starts in identity. And identity is shaped by repeated thought, emotionally impressed, especially in the final hour before sleep. Most people do not fail because they are incapable. They fail because they are mentally undisciplined when it matters most. They allow random emotion to decide their final thoughts. They leave the gate open. They let fear enter. They let old memories replay. They let defeat speak with authority. You must stop doing that. You must become selective. You must become the man who chooses what enters his mind before sleep. Because the subconscious mind accepts repeated instruction. It does not argue with what you feed it consistently. It acts upon it. It magnifies it. It turns it into attitude, instinct, expectation, and behavior. That is why a single sentence repeated with faith is more powerful than 100 ideas casually admired. One sentence. One aim. One command. Repeated nightly. That is enough to begin remaking a man. So here is the principle. Before you sleep, you must give your mind a clear instruction about who you are becoming and what you are creating. Not a weak wish. Not a vague hope. Not maybe one day. Not I want to. Not I'll try. No. You must speak as a man who has decided. Say what shall be. Say it with clarity. Say it with certainty. Say it with emotional force. For example, I am becoming a disciplined, wealthy, focused man who creates value and commands his life. Or, my mind works for me while I sleep, and every day I rise with more clarity, confidence, and wealth. Or, I am building a life of peace, power, freedom, and financial abundance through disciplined thought and action. Do you hear the difference? These are not begging statements. These are identity statements. And identity directs action. A man who believes he is weak acts weak. A man who believes he is confused hesitates. A man who believes he is becoming powerful begins to move differently, speak differently, decide differently. That is why this practice matters. You are not merely repeating words. You are rehearsing a self. You are installing a new internal standard. You are teaching your mind what to expect, what to seek, and what to build. Now listen carefully to the method. Do not complicate it. Do exactly this. First, choose one sentence. Not 5. Not 10. 1. It must be clear enough that it defines the man you are becoming or the result you are creating. Second, write it down. Put it on paper. Make it visible. A thought floating in the mind has less power than a thought fixed by intention. Third, remove distraction before sleep. No meaningless noise. No endless scrolling. No emotional contamination from the world. Let the room grow quiet. Fourth, read your sentence aloud. Slowly. Deliberately. With feeling. Again and again until it begins to feel less like fantasy and more like memory. Fifth, carry that same sentence into sleep. Let it be the last thing your mind hears from you. That is the practice. Simple? Yes. Small? No. This is where most men lose their future without realizing it. They think success is built only in effort. But effort without inner alignment creates exhaustion. Action without identity creates inconsistency. Movement without mental direction creates delay. You must become aligned before you become unstoppable. And alignment is built in silence. Let me say this clearly. The hour before sleep is sacred. It is not the hour for mental chaos. It is not the hour for replaying failure. It is not the hour to strengthen fear. It is the hour to plant instruction. If you guard that hour, your mornings will change. If your mornings change, your actions will change. If your actions change, your life will follow. This is how transformation begins. Quietly. Internally. Without applause. Without anyone seeing it. But soon, everyone sees the effect. They notice your posture. They notice your voice. They notice your decisions. They notice that you no longer speak like a man waiting to be saved. Because you are not waiting anymore. You are commanding. And understand this. Repetition is the force that makes the command stick. Do not try this for 2 nights and then return to mental disorder. Do not change your sentence every week. Do not let mood decide whether you obey the practice. Choose your statement. Keep it. Repeat it for 30 nights. Then 60. Then 90. Because the subconscious responds to persistence, not novelty. The average man is ruled by careless repetition. He repeats the same doubts, the same excuses, the same emotional habits. And because he repeats them, he mistakes them for truth. But truth is not always what has been repeated. Sometimes what has been repeated is only conditioning. You are here to break that conditioning. You are here to replace drift with direction. Fear with command. Weakness with identity. Reaction with creation. So let your night become your workshop. Do not collapse into sleep like a defeated man. Enter sleep like a builder. Say to yourself, I do not sleep in fear. I sleep in power. Say, my final thoughts are shaping my future, and I choose them with intention. Say, my mind is creating the life I have decided to live. And speak those words until your nervous system begins to believe them. Because once belief deepens, behavior follows. And once behavior follows, results begin to appear. Not by accident. Not by luck. But by law. Do not underestimate the force of a directed mind. A distracted man leaks power. A fearful man delays his own future. A drifting man keeps recreating the same life. But a man who commands his mind before sleep becomes difficult to stop. He wakes with more order. He carries less chaos. He moves with invisible momentum because he has already spoken to the deepest part of himself. That is why I tell you, your bedtime thoughts are not a side detail. They are not decoration. They are architecture. You are building either strength or weakness. Either faith or fear. Either prosperity or poverty. Every night, you are choosing. So choose consciously. Tonight, before you close your eyes, do not review your problems. Do not repeat your disappointments. Do not hand your subconscious a list of wounds and expect it to build peace. Give it a command. Give it a direction. Give it a vision of the man you are becoming. And if doubt speaks, repeat your sentence louder. If fatigue speaks, repeat your sentence anyway. If the old identity fights back, that is proof the new one is being installed. Stay with it. Because the old you does not disappear through wishing. It disappears through replacement. Night after night. Sentence after sentence. Decision after decision. Until one morning you wake up and realize something changed. You think differently. You carry yourself differently. You no longer negotiate with weakness the way you used to. You no longer entertain the same small thoughts. And the world begins responding to the man you have become in private. That is how power is formed. Not in noise. In repetition. Not in public. In silence. Not in fantasy. In disciplined self-instruction. So here is your final reminder. Choose one sentence tonight. Write it. Speak it. Feel it. Repeat it until sleep takes over. And let that sentence become the bridge between who you have been and who you now decide to be. Because the man who governs his final thought begins to govern his life. And the man who governs his life does not stay average for long. Now begin. Not tomorrow night. Not when conditions feel better. Not when you feel more inspired. Begin tonight. Command your mind before sleep. And let your future start obeying. Kia hal hai saincum.